Here in Lagos, suspended ASP Drambi Vandi, who was charged with the murder of a Lagos-based lawyer, Bolanle Raheem, last Christmas, has been sentenced to death by hanging. Justice Ibironke Harrison, sitting at the Tafawa Balewa Square Annex Division of the Lagos State High Court, dismisses defense and saying it didn't shoot the deceased. Kemi Foladiyemo has details in this report.
The prosecution presented 11 witnesses, including family members of the deceased and team members of the defendant who witnessed the incident that day. The pathologist said Mrs. Raheem was fired at close range, and the armorer testified that 2 bullets were missing from the defendant's weapon afterwards. The ballistician's report was found to be inconclusive because the defendant's gun, upon examination, had some defects, as the bullet fragments retrieved from the vehicle couldn't be matched with the gun. But the court said the fault will not result in the gun firing itself and that it was the only weapon fired that day. The court found it strange that the defendant, who was the police team lead at the checkpoint, was the only person that didn't hear the loud gunshot heard by the witnesses. The judge accepted the evidence of the deceased sister, who had gone on to hold on to the defendant's shirt after the shooting, as well as bystanders who pointed at him as the shooter.
The prosecution is obviously happy about the results of this conviction, and we hope it will bring a closure for the family of late Mrs. Bolanle Raheem.
The judge has done exactly what he has been sworn in to do, which is the responsibility to deliver justice in good time.
The court said the defendant didn't dispel the evidence that he was seen to have fled into a minibus, where he was dragged out from and taken to the hospital Mrs. Raheem was rushed to. Even there, he changed into a mufti and hid under a staircase.
The Spirit of the Lord directed me, and I know He didn't direct me. I did it on pro bono. All of us must not just cast astigation because we have one bad egg and believe all of them are bad.
My Lord even went to the extent of considering the possible innocence of possibility of reduction of sentence of the defendant. But even considering his defense, it was still so watery that there was no other way than to determine the case in favor of the prosecution.
Despite the guilty verdict, the defense counsel says the defendant will consider an appeal. Kemi Foladiyemo, TVC News, Lagos.